All right, everyone, well, it's 9 o'clock, so let's call the meeting to order. Okay. Okay, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Oh, thank you, Cindy, for taking the minutes.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Has everybody had a chance to review those? Okay, do we have any change? I have a few changes. Yeah, she's very detailed.
I expected changes because I missed a lot.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, do you want to start?
Oh, okay, so I think.
And that was my mistake, not Cindy's.
So it's 9:02.
That was a typo on my part.
No big deal. In this number 2, in brackets, it says not sure what the change was. It was $10 per file in 2 weeks. So do we need to go ahead and put that in there? It's just $10 per file. And put a little semicolon, 2 weeks. That was what the change was.
Okay.
Simple.
Where are you?
In number 2, where in that bracket, it says not sure what the change was.
Oh.
Do we have to list that?
We don't have to
We
list
don't
the
have to
change.
list
But I don't know why we put not sure what the change was.
Well, that was, I think,
So I-
Cindy's comment.
Oh, I put it in because
That
I
was just her
wasn't sure
comment
if
to
you
herself.
needed it or
Yeah,
not.
let's
and
just
I
leave
couldn't
it out.
remember.
So just, you're gonna just take out the,
Okay, yeah, we don't need
not,
that.
just not sure what the change was.
Yeah, just, they were corrected, that's all.
Yeah. And then in the paragraph 5, old business A, do you see question marks in kind of random places?
No, that's me.
Yeah, that figured, that was
Okay,
what she just
okay.
wasn't sure and wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if, let's see, temporary plexiglass in storm windows or as storm windows. I didn't know at the time, and I got a little more detail from you when I went to the presentation room, because I wasn't quite sure. So, word it the way you think it should be.
I think just remove in-storm windows with that question, because
Okay.
the temporary plexiglass was removed.
Yeah.
That's really all there was.
Okay, I'm going upstairs.
And
So
then,
take out the question marks.
well, take out the in-storm windows question mark, because it's plexiglass, it was plexiglass. But then, when you're saying upstairs has been removed and windows, plural, are undergoing restoration with a question mark, just a period. There should be just a period there, but
Okay.
the window that's undergoing restoration is the library window, so I think that's, it is plural.
They
Is it singular, right?
Well, they fixed several. They fixed some of the wood around the
then it has to
windows
say
and,
plural, okay.
yeah, some of the wood was too damaged to,
I knew about the wood restoration, but I didn't know about.
left to be restored.
Okay, so the plural windows is right, okay. Just make that question mark a period. And then, one thing that's sort of, I would like for just consistency purposes, anywhere you put Karen K, make sure you put the period after, or Karen R, put the period after.
Yeah.
And that's an easy find and replace in Word, if you just go find and replace and just so that it's consistent, so that there's no question of, was that a typo or? was that
I'm sure it was a typo.
Oh, it's just a little.
I mean, it was me putting it in there. I'm sure it was a typo that I forgot to period because other places
Yeah, it's there
I
some places.
did it
and
because I
others.
meant to. Yeah, so.
So it's just an easy find and replace, so if
Yeah.
you do a find and replace and just do that, so that we make sure that the new Karen K's and Karen R's just period after the last,
And I guess
initial.
along that line, section B under old business, I'm looking further down the line under Art Walk Open House, and I just happened to glance at my name on the last line. So I am officially Candace, Candis.
Oh.
So I guess, yeah.
Do you like it to be in the as Candace or Candy?
Candace is fine. I mean, that's how we kind of list.
Always,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
Okay.
so stay with Candace, okay.
Just so I know whether I should be taking the most copious notes and being careful. Who's gonna update it?
I'm gonna make these
Okay,
edits.
good.
Yeah.
Great.
I can relax.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah,
You
Brittany
really
will be as the house manager, she's got the file, she makes sure it's in the ADA compliant format, and she'll
Okay.
make the corrections
Okay, great.
for all.
Cindy, thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, no problem.
Just realized.
See,
Yeah.
put a little light on
Oh,
it.
that helped.
I have one on B for Art Walk. Can you mind if I? Okay, where it's, I guess that's a little I there, or a little one. It says both tabletop for the downstairs and display in full-time. I think that doesn't need to be in there at all. Just securities. We secured some floor easels is what we did. We didn't secure tabletop. We've had those forever. So I think we could just say has secured easels for maybe for the use of artists. However you want to word it.
Okay.
It was a little confusing the way it was
I
written.
just wonder
Yeah,
if that's
lots.
even necessary to strike something like that. I mean, it's factual.
Yeah.
You know, just in going forward, we don't have to provide so much detail maybe.
Well, that's it. But I mean, for the display of the restoration project and full-size RVs, it was just more detail than we needed, I think. So I just would take that out. But it's,
Okay, so we're taking that out?
yeah. And the last paragraph on that page, it just gives a lot of detail to that actually changed because people, you know, where people are gonna be for Art Walk, a lot of that changes during Art Walk, so I just think that paragraph isn't really needed, since none of it came to be really. You know, we changed people around it.
So maybe just say, and Brittany provided additional house logistics.
Maybe that, yeah. And the other is good information, but it changes so much
Yeah.
during the actual thing, we don't need to list that.
I do like that the visitor entrance front door only. I like that that was listed. It actually provides a record
Well,
of
that
how
part.
something was done, so that for future events,
That's
it
true.
can be, you know,
Yeah.
repeated. So I do.
Well, that part, but not the names of who's manning
Just
the
where,
door.
okay.
That kind of stuff doesn't
Yeah.
need to be there, because it does get changed. Yeah, I agree with you, that sentence is good.
I think the only, the next item that I see is under G3. There's a little question mark. Of course. Behind the word previous. So I just was gonna say, do we need that in there, we just need to scrap that out.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, that was only a question to you guys about whether something was right or not.
I think you got it right, because it was the previous video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just strike the question mark, we're good to go.
And then I would say, for, in paragraph 9, the future agenda items, number or letter B, club affair is CLUB, and then a little dash, A, and then a little dash, and fair, F-A-I-R. So we need to be consistent with that.
Oh, is the
That might have been
A in the middle,
autocorrect. It's,
lowercase or?
no, uppercase.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want anyone thinking that we're having affairs from clubs and.
It might,
I don't know, we run anything scandalous, so, but that's actually the title, club. And, hey.
and I just have one thing, and Candy, this is kind of up to you, but under items from the board, item C, is that too personal to be in there? Just that you,
Where are you?
Yeah, I would say strike it.
it seemed kind of personal to me.
I would
Where's
strike that.
Oh, items from the board,
Item
okay.
C, I would put that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, right? Under here, E,
It's on
items
page.
from the board, C, it just mentions. Letter C, I would strike that one.
Thank you. You put a lot of time and energy into this.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yes, you did very good.
That's, anything else?
One last thing is I might suggest put the time of the meeting adjourned. And that's just standard practice. Time when we begin, time when we, if you look at the video, it'll show it.
I have it on my notes at the office, like.
Okay, actually, yeah. All right.
Otherwise, does anyone have any other
Suggested corrections.
Great, thanks again.
I
Yes, Cindy, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Can I get a,
We approve these,
can I get
based
a
on the
motion?
corrections. I move that.
I move that we accept the minutes as amended.
All
I
in
will
favor?
second that then.
You second it? All in favor?
Yeah.
You seconded?
I'll second.
You moved it.
Did you said it right?
We had two moves there.
We had two
And
moves.
Candy, I have to say, I really appreciate what you do after doing it.
It's a
That's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Boy, you're doing a lot.
I'll approve. Say aye.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, we have no public today, so we'll move on. Discuss items for packet updates, so. We already discussed,
We saw the pictures of painting before and after.
any comments on the photos attached here? Other than that, they look, the painting is great.
Thank you for doing that, because
Sure
it's
is.
definitely something that can be included in the scrapbook. So.
Yeah. And there's a lot more photos too that we want for. So,
Yeah, I really like how the new storm window in place turned out, because they made a slight change that made the storm window just look so much more neat and put together. There wasn't all these changes in elevation
Yeah.
as you went around the window, and I just think it looks so sweet. So.
And the dark green really is a nice accent.
Yes,
It's
beautiful.
Looks good.
the storm windows all have like a little ventilation system in them as well, so that the original glass doesn't get overheated and
Oh, wow.
cause more weathering. So it's really cool if you go
Take
out
a walk
and
around.
check that out. But
Wow.
and even with the one that's still missing, just seeing that next to the ones that have been done is a really great before and after comparison. So excited to get that back in, but it's actually kind of nice to see right now, so you can really tell the difference. Yeah.
So exciting.
I do like the email blasts. They're very
Great.
informative, they're well done, very well done.
Yes.
Whoever
This
put
is
them together, you know. I wasn't sure who was the creator of them.
Well done.
Thank you.
With
Chris.
help,
Yeah.
yeah, Sue Ellen and Kristen helped me too. So yeah, and we got 20 new signups at Art Walk, so just send these out whenever we have events and things going on, and so.
I like it because you don't have to look, otherwise I was going online sometimes, I didn't have all the right places earmarked, so I'd be,
Yeah.
where did I see this? And then I found one, you
Yeah.
know? So this is nice.
The liberty of signing you all up, so. And with the donate button at the bottom there, that's how we got our first online donation, completely unsolicited.
A question, I know that the paint chips were analyzed and so on, and that the colors of that 1906 or whatever the significant time period. So does that mean that all these things that are green now were not green for decades?
Oh, they've been repainted a
Wow.
couple times over the years.
They've been different colors over time.
Yeah.
They had a lot of.
They've been orange,
Like a rust?
rusty
Yes.
orange, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's possible they were green along the way, but it might be the first time that it's
This'll
green
be-
like the 1906 since then.
We couldn't say
Wow.
for sure what it
About
was
that
in 1906. so.
Yeah.
Early
It's
Yeah.
about that time period.
Yeah.
The significant period of time.
But it probably has not been painted that color since then.
Okay.
That's too bad.
Well, that's really,
that's a nice
that's
piece.
so exciting.
So you don't have the report from Philella, do you? It's an electronic format, so
Yes,
it can be emailed to you, and then you can open it up, and then you'll see the pictures of the, like I call it Christmas candy ribbon, ribbon
Oh,
candy
wow,
look
okay.
of the white and the red.
Because they just painted over.
And the
Yeah.
orange
So-
and the layer after layer after layer of paint.
Yeah.
You don't have that, huh? The
Well,
email with
no, 'cause you-
I don't
It
know,
was from
maybe
before
I
we
had
were
it
on
and
the-
didn't look at it.
I bet it was from before we were.
Yeah, it was
on
last
the
year.
board.
Oh,
Can we make sure
Yeah,
that we email
I've got
that out
access to
so
that
that
somewhere, or
they
I'll put
have
it.
yeah. Because
It's kind of dry, but it has,
It
has info.
is, but the pictures say a lot.
yeah,
It was fun.
yeah. Okay.
Does everybody else have that, or?
Everyone,
You send it to
I have
everybody
but I
again?
just send it to everyone again. Good.
Sure.
Good practice.
Okay, and then the pictures of the faucets, what's the?
Yeah, that's not really part of, it didn't make it into the packet
Oh.
because it was, I was waiting on some things and it didn't make it in time, but
I have a picture.
yeah, everybody does. I think we'll discuss that during items from staff.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay then, so we've discussed the packet. Any other comments on the packet? Okay, we'll move along to old business then. First item is status of the SHF grant project.
So that's kind of, we were chatting about with the windows as well, but I think everything is about done. The library window, we're still waiting, it's being restored offsite by kind of the third party that Empire is working with on our behalf, so not real sure about a timeline for that, maybe end of October-ish, or at least by then, maybe a little before then. To get that back, and then they'll still need to finish the painting once the window's in place. So that's the main thing that we're waiting on. So we get the front gates put back on. Oh yeah, so there was a little bit of damage to the concrete on the south walk here during the restoration project. So Empire is going to repair that for us. It's an accident on their part, but they're going to repair that. So yeah, I think that about completes the actual grant project. But then Empire is going to be doing some additional work for us in the house, things like this, the upstairs lamp in the burgundy room, and some things, interior things that need done. They actually were here Monday, putting some things over and working on the lamp in the front room and things like that. So, and that is aside from the actual SHF fund work, but some kind of continuing things.
So you said working on the lamp in the front?
Yeah, the
chandelier.
chandelier, sorry, yeah, the light fixture in the front. Just some things like that around that they're going to be working on. They're also going to be helping us with the upstairs wall. So our facilities team is going to be hanging so that's later here, but hanging the hanging system for the house manager picture project, and then Empire is going to be refinishing that wall and painting the hanging strip and whatnot after. So some interior, it's a little interior things like that they're going to be doing for us. But again, that's aside from the actual grant project.
Is there a game table on
Well, we're going to have the hanging system in place before the October tea, but yeah, actually they're hanging it. They're working on it right now.
That's
But the wall behind it's not going to be refinished until after that time. So I think most of that extra interior work is going to be taking place in October. So yeah, but grant project, we're just mostly waiting on the completion of the library window.
I have one question regarding the library window. They are not replacing the lid glass.
They're
right?
restoring.
Really, okay.
Yeah.
Really critical piece here. They better not be replacing those pieces of glass.
No, they're restoring all of it.
Just let it
Just taking
Yeah.
it apart,
Yeah.
restoring the frame.
Yeah.
That
That one just because of
replacing the
the
glass.
state it was in.
That would be difficult for them to
Special
get
project.
projects too, so the cheapest thing for them to do is just repair it.
Yeah, all of the glass pieces are
It's
intact.
proper
They just say,
It's not what happened with the flat one in the library, which is why I'm being very specific in asking this, because they did use new material to replace the old material in the flat glass in the library, and I did not want that to happen again. So,
yeah, they're restoring it.
Alrighty,
Yeah, that's all I've got for the grant project.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
let's move on. Any questions? Sorry. Okay, let's move on to artwork.
Yeah, we had 241 total visitors. And we got $31 in cash donations and 20 new email signups. And overall, everything was a success. It was really nice, and the weather held out. And I think all the artists had a good time. They all sold something. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry I couldn't be there, guys.
You missed fun.
I got
Okay.
COVID.
This time.
Oh.
And then my son got COVID, so I felt like it was a good idea to go.
That,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry I missed it.
yeah, it was a fun night. I enjoyed And you were here
Or you were probably here for 4 hours too.
I was almost here for 4 hours.
Yeah. And like I said, you're welcome
I
to
came
stay.
like 2 hours early, because I, on my calendar, Google Calendar, I had still marked the full event time,
Oh, gotcha.
and I ignored whatever I put in the minutes where it said
Oh, you were-
come in at 6 o'clock.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah,
All turned out well.
Yeah.
Karen had a lot of people visit the bride's room. She was talking about the grant project, so that was very good.
Very interested.
Yeah.
They were really happy to hear.
Yeah, I saw people in there every time I
It
went
was just like
upstairs.
this
Yeah.
packed room all the time,
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I'm getting everyone's questions and, but it was, that was good, so.
So I took some snapshots and I think you took some.
I
Do
did
you need
take
any
some.
for us to scrap it?
Yeah,
sure.
Right. Did we sell any of the books?
We sold a book.
Okay, so somebody specifically said, "Sell a book, I can find this."
Yeah.
Downstairs on the
Yeah, we
floor.
sold one book, so that's good too.
Cool.
Yeah. Love it.
I thought
Use
it was
the
interesting
credit card
that
machine.
artists
I
outside.
think it was Betsy did that one. Sorry, so yeah.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was gonna say, I thought it was interesting that the artist outside of the, what would you call that round thing? Bay window, balcony. It was that little balcony, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that had been painted
Yeah.
the day
Repainted.
before.
Yeah.
And his painting showed that with not that color.
With the tan window.
Yeah, so then he, on his prints, he colored in green for people.
He came out before and did a painting of the library window and then put it up on Saturday
Like,
on screen. I was like, oh, I maybe should have told you that we painted in between. But it actually ended up being a great story, and I think he sold some of those because he kind of told people
He did.
what happened, and then
Yeah.
they were able to stay up. So it was kind of, it ended up being kind of funny.
And we had another artist asked if she could go outside, Jenna, the one who was in the parlor. And so if she's invited back next year, we might talk to see about, because the outside works really nice for the artists as long as the weather's good.
I think there was room to have quite another handful of
Yeah, we could
artists
have
outside.
more
Just if we can figure out maybe some lighting on that back end, just
Yeah.
since the last 30 minutes got pretty dark. But I mean, there's room for another
The music was
few
perfect.
people.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
nice, very nice.
For all the list of the artists, have you provided that to Maureen for
I will.
continuing on for,
Yeah,
okay.
because you definitely, some of them want to come back, and it's nice to re-invite them back again.
Yeah.
Since
Have
she was
we
working
done
on
like a
it.
feedback from the artists
We have
before? Have we asked for that? I don't know if
That
that
might
would
be a good
be
idea.
valuable.
That would be good.
Yeah, vendor markets that I've run in the past, we usually send out kind of a feedback form. Yeah.
I know the ones I've called the second year, they're always glad to get called.
Yeah.
Is that some, is that some contact information you share with Brittany so she can get a
Oh, yeah,
survey out?
Okay.
That'd be
It's fine, I'll just give the full paper. Okay.
One quick last question about, because it's sort of grant related and house and stuff. Can we invite Anne McQueen to come back to the house to take a look at the completion of the projects?
Sure.
Yeah, she's been at all of the meetings.
She's been at all the meetings,
We-
but
yeah.
has she been on site here? Has she seen-
Absolutely.
has she
Yeah,
seen
absolutely.
When was
Those are our
that?
meetings are here.
2 weeks ago
Oh,
or
okay,
something.
so she's been
She's
able to
huge.
see.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she's been
Good.
involved and in contact
Did not know
with
that.
Kevin a lot and
Carrie,
Ozzy.
yeah.
Good,
No, she's on site whenever there's a meeting with the contractor
Construction
group.
meeting.
good. All right, that's great. I just thought, I don't know, because we're not included in that, so I did not know, and I thought, we need to make sure.
Anne McLeod, exact
she's-
spelling, but I can.
MC and then LEAV. And I'll email you too, just making sure that it's you see.
Any other comments on Art Walk?
Good job.
Okay, let's move along to news releases for grant projects.
The news release has been, it's in a final draft form. We're basically just waiting we've decided to wait until the project is fully complete. So once the window's back in, once the sidewalk is finished, the gates are back on, then we'll send the news release. But it's basically ready to go, so.
When you do that, are you inviting Tennis Hall to come out and take photos of you?
Yes, we have a connection with a photographer as well. So yeah, depending on the time of year, we want to send it out in connection with a time where people can come see the project, although most of it is exterior, so they can come and visit, you know, the gardens at any time. But so it may, by the time it's done, maybe in conjunction to invite people during the holiday open houses or whatever it may be. If not, I might do a couple of hours of like open house time when I'm just here during the weeks, people can't see or whatever. But we wanted to have it in conjunction with a time where people can come and see. Come and see, yeah. So
if it is before the December, first week of December.
Yeah, if it's much earlier than that, I could put some additional time on. Like I said, just if I'm here, people can come through the house and whatnot. But yeah, just waiting for the final completion, and then that's all ready to go. So
Can we see at the next board meeting? Can you bring the content so we can take a look at it?
yeah, sure.
Just to make sure we're
Yeah.
everything stated.
Yes.
Oh, I have one question. This jumps back a little bit to the email blasts that you sent out.
Yeah.
When it comes time for Christmas and they have to, we're gonna do the reservations probably again this year.
November, yeah.
Will that be in the like November news blast, the time, you know, the information, what they need to?
For constant contact, that for recreation, that goes to all the households, is that the e-blast you're talking about?
I think she's talking about the one that we put together for just that.
For the people who want to, you know, get reservations for the Christmas, will that be in the
That's
email?
what we mean.
Or will that just
Yeah,
be?
I mean, we're basically sending that kind of stuff out in all formats that we can. So there's the recreation-wide constant contact, and now the one that was in the packet is the brand new Callahan only constant contact, and various other avenues throughout the city to let people know when it's time to register and that those events are taking place.
Now, is the constant contact, is that also an email blast?
It is.
It's just, yeah,
There's
How
the
do I
same
sign
as
up for
this,
that
but it's a
one?
recreation
I'm not
only
signed
one.
up for that.
Oh, it's the recreation one. It goes out every Thursday around 11 a.m.
So go to the recreation site and sign up for it? Is that how
You
it
can.
I
works?
could probably send a link for that, right? Isn't it? Yeah, okay, I can send a link to everybody if you want to sign up.
I would
I'm
prefer that.
already signed up.
Yeah, I'd like to. Okay. Because-
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, now we can go on. Fall tea, October 1st, from 2 to 4.
So our RSVPs will be finalized on September 22nd, I'm sorry. And so at that time, I'll provide those numbers probably to Maureen and to Brittany. I don't have updates from Maureen about the food/beverage plan. Did that get
Yeah,
she's going to be cooking or doing the food preparation here in
Yeah.
the kitchen.
the last meeting we discussed that someone would form a committee to decide what the menu was going to be.
I think that Maureen probably would have been one to lead that.
Yeah,
I don't have
I
any
guess I
say on
assumed
that.
y'all were chatting about it, but.
I don't have any information.
Okay, I'll
on
reach
that
out to
one.
Maureen and ask that that gets finalized, because we're in crunch time and we're not gonna be meeting again before that
I mean,
tea, so.
what I'm doing is putting together the place cards, like last year, so, you know, all of that work is what I'm handling, but
Okay.
I'm not having anything to do with the board.
What date in September did you say your RSVPs would be?
22nd.
You got my
I
phone. Whatever.
email. And I'm going to send a confirmation out. I'm gonna send one email. Maybe today, I was thinking Friday, but maybe I'll go ahead and do it today, because it's next Friday that is the RSVP request deadline. And so just as a quick reminder for anyone who hadn't yet RSVP, please do so by Friday. So I'll be sending that out to those who hadn't responded, but in an email to all of those who hadn't, saying, we're looking forward to seeing you all. Let us know if anything changes. If you plan to bring a guest after all. That kind of thing. And there are some that are, so that's good.
Is anyone interested specifically in assisting Maureen in some kind of a committee for the menu? Because I can let her know to reach out.
I think there already was,
Whoever.
wasn't Karen Reed on it too?
I don't know.
I think so. I think that was,
Well, I thought there was, but I guess, unless it was Karen and Maureen.
right.
That's not
I have to
me.
go back and check, but I thought
Okay.
Karen Reed was on it. Don't quote me.
Okay, I'll reach out to Maureen and we'll
Yeah.
get it figured out.
Yeah.
Any other details for that other than what's being served that we need to finalize beforehand?
Do you need help in setup or,
I need to know what we want the setup to be.
okay, well, when I can contact you on the 22nd, then maybe we can connect to that time.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
talk about how the setup can be.
Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on the FLT? All right, let's move on to donations and contributions.
I don't have a major update on that. Basically, we're going through the process of editing that within the city for final acceptance, so that we can move forward with it. So that's.
Is it our city attorney's office? Are we at that point?
No, it's editing. I need to work on some edits from some feedback that I received from within the city and then send it back again for another review before final approval. So, yeah, but donations are up and running on the website. And the donate button is going out with emails
Working,
and
right?
has worked.
So,
Right.
That is
There's
great.
that.
That is definitely a step in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, so we're getting there.
Thank you.
Digitized scrapbook.
So, you've got some information about some departments within the city that have
We'll hopefully
resources
be
that
able to,
we
yeah,
implement that can help, we can get some help.
yes,
Get
yeah,
some city resources to get this project done.
yeah.
That's what
Hopefully, so we needed those physically so that they could take a look and see if the potential resources within the city could be used to help us with that project. So hopefully that will be the case. If not, we'll go to whatever plan B is and we'll go from there. But so we've got those here. Thank you, Karen, for bringing those, and we'll get some people over to take a look and see how to move forward. But the board will still be very much involved, in the project, actually
Yeah.
doing the project,
Yeah.
here at the house, scanning pages or whatever.
Because the handling of that is specific.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very much like what Eric Newsom would do over in archives at the museum.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be really important that it
Yes, anybody from the board that wants to be involved in that will still be involved, and we just need to get those city folks over here that have some idea about how we might be able to do it within the city, and confirm that physically with the scrapbooks, and then we'll go from there. So.
Once this is completed, if it ever gets completed,
But
but,
it's gonna get completed.
what is then with the scrapbooks, are they gonna be kept at the museum or?
I believe they should be kept here at Callahan House.
Okay, I just wanted, because,
Yeah,
they're still fragile and everything.
right. Yeah.
If they go to the museum or the archives,
We never.
we won't get it back.
Oh,
They belong then to them.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of stuff already there, I believe.
Yeah,
Years
at
ago, we
least they're
did
safe,
do that.
but they're
Vacuum
very
is
safe.
there,
Yeah.
there are files
Yes.
about the
I mean, they could be
House
looked
there,
at.
including
Yeah.
photos, negatives, documents, yes, there's,
Yeah.
there are files about the Callahan House.
I was just thinking after they were digitized, would that be a safekeeping place where, are they like in the right kind of atmosphere, where they're protected
Yeah,
from
I mean, is
the
it?
humidity and stuff?
I have never been to the archives.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, what is the opinion of where they should be kept?
It's hard to put a voice.
Yeah, that's maybe ahead of time, we haven't got digitized yet, so once that's for what we've done. So.
I think once we've got through digitizing, I think that the board members can probably say, this document might be best held at the museum archives. Now, a copy of it can stay here in the scrapbook, but the original, as scanned in or photographed, can be on the online. But I know for sure, one piece of documentation that automatically comes to mind is this signed in list. It's several pages and it's in pencil. Everyone who signed in to come to the Callahan House the first time they opened it up to all of the community and said we're gonna have this venue for the ladies clubs and come and see the house. And it's everybody's handwritten signature. So that is one document I would say needs to be in the archives.
Yeah,
Needs
it's
to be
protected.
in a-
So would that have been in the 30s?
It was 1938. It was.
Wow.
It was 1938. So I was like, oh, this is one thing. So that is one that I would say right off the bat. There are going to be some others that I would say you probably have to go to. But again, I think it should be board members all together saying, yes, let's ask to submit this to the museum archives and keep a copy with us. But of course, the original will get properly scanned in electronically first. But yeah, there are some things that should go.
All right, so that's old business. Anything we missed? So, okay, let's move on to new business. And the first thing is the 2024 flower order and grounds plan. I haven't really worked on it. I don't know if Ben has anything to add as far as when we need to get the order in.
Before November, right?
I don't know.
I think what, as far as I know,
Check
it's
with
before
Tim.
November, but.
November will not be too late.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
when is the deadline by which to make sure we can get our order in properly?
I think it,
I can ask Timber a specific date, or, you know, if
Yeah.
he's got it, or to let him know that we
perhaps
have an order to put forth, and when does he need that by?
And who do we give this order to?
Brittany.
To
To
Brittany.
me, I won't get it to Parks, but I would love your input, everybody's input on, I have some ideas myself after having been
Right.
here for the last half of the summer, but yeah, I would definitely love some help in putting that together, so.
Anybody who wants to help with that?
Yeah, would that be a committee type of situation,
Can
or?
you put it out, can you send out an email to the board and just say, so Ann and I plan to work on this on such and such day and time. If you're able to join us, please do.
Okay,
Can you do that?
They make it an open
Yes.
invitation.
great,
Okay.
For everybody.
alright.
Because everybody has some good idea somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. And then we can set up a time.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, moving on then to the PEO Founders Day program. Who would like to speak?
I guess that would be me, because it's me and Maureen. Brittany introduced us to EDK, and then we coordinated a day and time with her. She would like us to come to the church, it's the Methodist Church, and to show us the area where they're going to hold their meeting, so that we understand how many and just how the room setup is going to be, and then to ask her what specifically, if there's anything in particular she'd like us to address regarding the Callahan house. I know in particular that I can address that there was a PEO chapter that met here from the very beginning. So I will talk to her about that, say, how would you, this much unknown, how would you like me to expand on that? So we're going to meet with her on the 20th in the afternoon and at the church, and she will talk with her to share with her the information, ask her how she'd like us to prepare the presentation, so that then we can come back to the board and say, okay, here's what they're asking for, and about what the presentation will be about and the length, and that it is actually going to be in January. And so we'll bring that back to the board and say, here's kind of what the plan is, and make sure it seems okay with everybody on the board.
So that's what she wants, is a presentation about Callahan House.
Thanks for doing that, sounds great.
Of course, which I think is so special, because
Yeah.
they were one of the original clubs.
Yeah, and they're meeting.
And
after
Alice
this
was
meeting
part of
today.
it, yes. And Alice was part of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's special.
All right. Okay, let's move on and talk about the holiday open house and decorating. I think we already have some dates set for that.
Yeah, and I had some questions, but, so December 1st is the Santa open house. Kristen shared with me the contact information for Santa, so I reached out to him and he's.
Paul.
Yeah, Santa.
Long distance call.
So I reached out to him and he's on board. Santa that we had last year is on board for this year, for December 1st, so that's great. He did mention to me that there was some discussion last year about having a second date, and I didn't know if that meant, because we're having the Santa open house and then just a regular, the Santa open house is reservation, by reservation. The regular open house is for all ages to come and see the house decorated for the holidays, and that one's just a regular open house. I didn't know if that constituted the two events, or if we were talking about two Santa events.
Santa peaks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only reason the two Santa days came up was the demand for
Right.
it in the past
Okay.
years. So is that what
He-
we want to do?
Yeah, well, he said that he was available for, I believe it was a date at the very end of November, which makes sense if the next one is on the 1st, if that is, you know, of interest. And so he was also going to, and I don't know the details of how that functioned before, how we can do it this year, but he was gonna come to the house at some point and meet and kind of talk about what we did last year and see what we wanna do this year. And, you know, I imagine it's fairly straightforward, but reservations will open up in mid-November, potentially maybe the first or second week this year if we're having another date in November. But that was what I wanted to confirm, is if we wanted two Santa dates and then a regular open house.
What date are we
for-
decorating?
Well, that was the other question. Because I think historically the board helps decorate for the holidays, which I would love, so also wanted to kind of get a time potentially ironed out for that. If we can set that now, or we could set it in
Actually,
the
I think it
October
would be
meeting
a good
probably.
idea to set it in the October meeting because hopefully Karen and
Oh,
Marie
yeah.
will be present then.
And that's
But
enough
everyone
time.
should just know and bring your calendar for November because essentially
Yeah.
we're gonna be looking
I
at a
imagine
date
that
in
takes place
November
in early to mid-November, the decorating.
to
Okay.
to be able to decorate
Not
together.
too early in November.
Not yet,
No.
not too early, but like,
Unfortunately,
Mid.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
say anytime after the 15th.
because we've
Before
got Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, before
Yeah.
A lot of
Thanksgiving.
people aren't around for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So everyone can bring their calendar and we can
Okay.
schedule that next month.
Okay, but we are interested in having a second Santa open house.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
You know, when we didn't have reservations for Santa, we were swamped. So if it ends up being a second date with him without reservations, will that same thing happen?
I think the second date would also
Still
be
be
reserved.
reservations. Still be
Both will be
reservations.
reserved.
That's my question.
Yeah.
I think they both would
Both
be
would be.
reservations. The one that wouldn't be would be just the general open house that Santa is not
Not
a part of.
reserved.
It's
It's
just to come see the holiday before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's
two reserved
wanting,
Santa
he's willing
dates.
to do two reservation dates. Okay.
And then we're gonna have
In
three,
addition to our own.
basically three days in
that's-
December.
That would be three.
Well, he was talking about a late November for a second Santa date. And this isn't something that we necessarily
Right.
have to do.
You don't need to do the second Santa.
Yeah.
There's a
No,
lot of
it's been
Santa in
advertised
town.
for it.
Exactly.
Santa
Talk
comes the
about
next
it.
weekend for a recreation in October.
Yeah.
Plus having it in November it's gonna collide with Thanksgiving for a lot of people.
Maybe. He was thinking like November.
It'll be
30th.
full.
It would be after Thanksgiving.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanna do it, it will be full. You wanna take on another night of commitment for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Maybe can we table this to talk about it next month because when Karen
probably
and Marie.
not. He'll get booked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Was this a paid event last year?
No,
No.
it's not.
It's
It's
a
not.
reservation.
But he is paid.
He is.
He is paid, right?
Yeah.
How much is he paid?
A lot.
Do we have the funds to pay him for 2 nights?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, in the big picture, yeah. We can do a few hours of Santa, but
Can you expand a little bit on how he's used at the recreation center? And so that maybe if we can't do two,
it's at Holiday Lights
okay.
every
yeah.
year, the Friday
And
night.
it's like Santa's workshop, right? Inside the.
People stand in line.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to think, if we're not going to have the 2 days, then we just at least, for anybody who's walking up or upset because they did not get a reservation here, then at least we can say, he will be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's plenty.
And so.
Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Okay, lots of
Museums
places.
is also
There's no
doing-
shortage of
Don't
Santa.
ever,
Yeah.
don't ever
Something.
say sorry and not have something to say sorry, but there is another opportunity you could go. go here, or you could
Yeah,
go
there's
there.
lots of places.
Lots of options.
Yeah.
So I myself would say
Just lunch.
one day's
Which
enough.
one?
That makes sense.
That keeps it special.
It's
I
a
think if you do too many of them, it's
service provided.
Do we wanna lengthen the hours just a little? Maybe by
The
one or
the
two
hours
or
are
we
set,
Oh, okay.
and there was
Okay.
some various hours out there, so we basically set a period of time, which is a little bit lengthened, to accommodate all of those hours that are already out there.
Well, then we're
That
doing
we're
the best
not
we can, we're kind of
necessarily
doing
saying.
a happy medium with
Yeah, and
expanding the
I
hours.
wanna
a
say it's
smidge and-
3:30 to 7:30 or something, I'll
Okay.
confirm next month, but it's something like that, and it's a little bit expanded from the year prior, so,
Oh, that's good, then that gets a few more people on.
yeah. So I think, that makes sense, just one Santa,
Do we need a
one
motion?
holiday.
It's no change.
Yeah, there is no change,
Okay.
so we do just have,
Okay.
we've had the dates set on the calendar since early in the year, so
Okay.
there's no change.
Okay, so the only date we need to get is our decorating date, and we'll wait till we have the
Next
rest of
month.
October, okay,
To
well, I'll
the
follow up
schedule.
with Santa Pete and let him know that we're good with the one date.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, that moves us to number 7, items from staff. Does anybody have anything special?
Yes, so I want to talk
That's
about
for the policy.
I don't have one, but you all have one. But that's okay, I've seen,
You must have been referred to, right?
well, I'm, okay.
I'll
thank
take
you.
it back
I wanted
after
you to
you're
look
done
at
with
it, but, so for the upstairs faucet, this is a, historic looking replacement that I found. Looked through a lot of options. There's not a lot of companies out there that do these separate hot and cold. It's obviously a very historic style, so not a lot of options out there. This one has been, I don't wanna say confirmed, but it's gone through facilities to say that they think it will work. I don't think they can really confirm it until it's in hand, but the other feature that I wanted to make sure, so this, if you wanted to take a look upstairs, and actually I meant to bring the old ones down here with me, but so you can see they're very similar. This has the hot and cold, the same as the tub in that room. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure was that the spout reach was decent. The ones that are there now are a little bit kind of close to the edge there, so that we had a little bit more spout reach. But I think this is a good option to move forward with, and this is probably what we'll go with, unless anybody has any major concerns, but aesthetically, it's very similar to what we had, and I think it'll work well in that space, so.
Looks nice.
Thank you for doing research for
Yeah.
Sure. We will have to use a plumber to install these, so that's an extra cost. Facilities is not able to do it for us, but, so.
I know a very
to-
good, reasonable charging local plumber if we need.
Okay.
So-
Well, I called one that the city, already contracts with, and they gave us a price, and they're also very available timeline wise. It should be a fairly simple process, and they can pretty much do it right away, so.
Now, about the others. What are we doing with the original fixtures?
They're sitting in my office right now. They're in a known and safe location. I don't think they're the actual original features.
We can look at them and compare them to the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have them. They're safe in a box, but in terms of what we want to do with them moving forward, yeah. So, yeah, but I think this is a good option. Sure.
Things need to be replaced sometimes, and we're out, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they tried to repair the ones that were there and were unable to, so then put in a reasonable replacement. So yeah,
Okay.
that was all I had. Well, I think, let me double check.
Well,
Yeah.
the hangar upstairs, so we met with Kevin up there, the contractor from Empire, kind of talked about how we might do that, and then we met with Cameron from facilities, and I think we came up with a really good solution, because putting any sort of holes into the wall is something we want to try to minimize, but once, if we're putting up a system, something has to hold it. So, the rail that's up there is not suitable to take that. So what we came up with in the end was to put a piece of wood above the rail, directly on top of it, that we can attach the hanger to, so we only have to we can find the studs properly and put that in, and we can attach the thing itself to this piece of wood, and then the piece of wood will be painted when the wall is repainted. It'll be painted so it will fade right in, and it's above that rail, so I think it's a really good option. I think we really came up with a good solution to figure out a way to get that up to minimize the effect on the wall, because it freaks anybody out to try to put a hole into the plaster walls.
Yeah.
And there won't be any pressure on the existing historic rail that's there.
Exactly, that's why we put the piece of wood there.
And, okay.
And attach it to the studs.
And it brings it out far enough so that the wires aren't gonna
Just
be
hang down.
hanging off
Yeah.
the wood and touch the rail.
Yeah, and that was another piece, was we wanted to have it so when the thing attaches to it, it hangs straight down over that piece of railing too.
So it's
So,
like wood and then the hanger goes on the wood. So it's not that much.
yeah,
Are the pictures gonna be them swinging freely?
No.
They'll have the support of the wall still.
They're museum quality, it's a museum quality system. And we're not talking about a chain that hangs, it's more like a wire.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but if someone like were to poke it,
Exactly, I know, I'm aware of what they have, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they're gonna be out an inch from the wall, and they're gonna be, as
Yeah.
somebody walks by fast,
yeah,
they're gonna
because
swing.
otherwise you'd have something that's gonna scratch the wall there.
After the meeting, may I go up and take a look, because then that way I can see, do I need to put felt supports on the backs of the frames
That might be a good
to
idea.
provide that?
Or those cushions
They're
that
not
you
getting,
stick
I
on.
don't know that it'll be up today, but we can.
But yeah, at least I'll get an idea of how far out we're talking about, and then at least add my wallet. Take a look and go, all right, now.
They make those little- Yeah, silicone bumpers, they call them, for your cabinet doors, you can stick some of them on the back of it.
That or
Felt.
felt pads. Felt pads can be different thicknesses, and that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, I think
felt.
under all circumstances, we would want something like that,
Okay.
in my opinion. I mean, I know if I was looking at it, that's what I would do.
Yeah, okay, good to know, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
I do actually have one more update from staff. So we are looking, it's almost fall and we're looking towards next year for, clubs and programming and the private rentals. So we're gonna be looking at kind of revamping our event rental package and processes to kind of streamline things. Since we are a venue, we want to work as a venue and less as a more involved wedding planning service. Some things that we're gonna be changing around is the rentals of tables, linens, dishware, things like that are actually gonna be done through our caterers, which is very standard. In fact, all the caterers do those directly with all of their other venues except for Callahan House. So we're gonna be letting them take that back over. It actually makes the process very streamlined for everyone. And it'll be easier for them. So with that being said, we wanna look at raising our rental rates a little bit. We still wanna be obviously very accessible for everyone in the community. But still, make sure that we're not cheap. We want to be accessible, but not cheap. So looking at raising the hourly rates, and maybe revamping our package of what we offer and be more of a specific venue, a straight operate as a venue and not as a wedding planning service. So I'm gonna be putting together some information based on market rates, other venues in the area, what we're passing off, giving the rentals to the caterers, and put together some new rates and probably have that available for the October meeting. In addition to that, for clubs, bless you, probably we have not raised club rates since 2016. Inflation is kind of, and obviously we want to still provide this for our clubs, so I'm thinking a very nominal raise. Right now it's $12 a person for clubs. It seems like over the years, whenever it's been raised by about $2. So I was thinking maybe raising to $14 for clubs for next year. And having them pay an upfront fee at the beginning of the year rather than a by meeting fee. Most of the clubs do that anyway. It's easier for them, it's easier for us. And the purpose of all this is just to, again, these are going to be nominal raises really. We still want to be very accessible for our clubs and everybody in the community, but just to make sure that our overhead is covered and that we're still, you know, providing this service, but making sure that we're getting what we need to continue proper functioning moving forward, so.
So that's a year, then? $14 a year per person or per set, per meeting?
So $14 per person to meet monthly, or double to meet bi-monthly, which is how it's set now.
So it's a month, then, not a, okay.
Yeah, so $14 per person is the annual rate to meet once a month.
Wait, but they only pay $14 a year, not $14
Yes.
a month.
$14
That
a
is-
year.
Yeah.
Then why don't we make it 20? That's a nice round number.
Be careful about
Yeah.
that. You have some
You got a whole
older
year.
women in the bridge clubs,
Their use
Are
of
you
the
very
house is
careful about
really
that?
pretty limited. I mean, I'm here, in most cases, we do have the Wednesday night clubs, those are the only ones that really need additional staffing. They're not using, like in the past, clubs have been provided food and drink and all of these things. They're not really using much of our resources any longer. The most that we put out is some water and sometimes some linens that, you know.
I was just thinking it's a round number, and for a
I
whole year,
think
it's
that's-
pretty much bargaining.
Well, we
I
want
think
the
that's
club
too
fees to
steep
be
an
pretty
increase.
nominal. I think that would be a pretty big increase. We could talk about 15 maybe, but I think raising it too much.
We try to, so in recreation, we do try to raise fees when necessary, and it is necessary around right now, we raise fees, but, we try to stick around between the 5 and 10% at any given time, so that the impact is a little smaller, so I would say look at $2 now, and then in a couple of years, probably look at another increase.
That's kind of.
And the amount we bring in is,
It doesn't make that much
We
difference.
have to keep, we have to keep in mind this house and the purpose of
Right.
it. And while recreation does what they need to do, that's entirely a different operation than a historic home and a gift of this house to the city. So I think, yeah, this smaller increase is appropriate.
but it's cost of operations,
And
so
cost of
what?
operation.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
The increase, and
There does need
10%
to be
is
an
a-
increase, but
that's a reasonable increase. for
Yeah.
them. Stick with that.
Just a thought.
one question is with regard to having, yes, it is a venue, but it is a historic venue. So with regard to the setup of tables and chairs and things by any caterer, is that going to be supervised by staff, house staff, so that we can ensure that, like we all know, accidents happen and things happen when staffers of companies are doing a job and don't realize the historic nature of the venue that they're currently setting up. So there's the difference between a venue and a historic venue.
Right, so the caterers that we work with now, we have pre-qualified caterers, and they're both fantastic. They very much understand the historic nature of Callahan House. And they're the one, I mean, caterers do the setup now, that's just kind of how that functions. And so caterers have insurance, and we also, clients pay a security deposit. If they use our pre-qualified caterers, their deposit is lower. If they use other caterers, it's higher. So the caterers are, like I said, the caterers we work with now are great about that. They really understand Callahan House, and they've actually been making a lot of exceptions for us. And I want to make it easier for all of us to work together moving forward. So we are also talking about opening up a request for quotes to expand our pre-qualified caterers. So I think that would all be very details given to these folks about what it takes to work at Callahan House. And there are other venues like this that these folks work with. They understand the historic nature of a special place like this. But yes, there's always also Callahan staff on site, usually me, to kind of oversee all of those operations from our vendors.
And I can attest the time that they spend where we'd like to have 5 more people, they tell Brittany, and then Brittany calls all events, we need 5 more chairs. I'm like, nope, 7 more chairs. You know, so just cutting out that piece,
Yeah.
I will save up a lot of
Oh,
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I like that the caterers that the house has on the preferred list have insurance.
Yep.
And as you said, said, when there are events that people don't choose to use our preferred caterers, while they're paying a deposit, I'm wondering if we can change this up a little bit to instead require a venue insurance, basically. It happens when you rent a rental property, when you go stay somewhere, you have to pay, they require you have to pay this insurance.
All of the caterers have insurance,
All
whether
the
they're
caterers.
pre-qualified or not.
Okay, so anyone
Just as
that,
part of their operations, that's something that they would have.
but anyone that the guests are bringing in to cater or to serve their event, they have insurance?
As part of catering operations in general, they're gonna have insurance.
Okay.
Plus the deposit that the client is paying, which we probably need to raise also as part of this package revamp.
Okay.
And it's rare that people are using caterers that are not part of our pre-qualified set, and we're gonna be opening that up and making that, have more options there, so I think, that's all gonna work.
Well, so always, whenever there's caterers in the house, there's insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
The city doesn't work with any contractors that don't have insurance and group insurance, straight away.
Does that apply to our October tea?
No, but,
It's us setting up the house.
yeah, there's no
It's under the
outside,
umbrella
there's no
of the
third
city.
parties,
Am I
so.
It's how
That's
staff
an
setting
internal
it up, it's, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's internal,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it's not
We're good
catered.
there. It's a good question, but
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Frankly, I mean,
And it's
much
almost-
nicer, but no different than me doing a Safeway and getting chicken and stuff for a holiday ball at the Memorial Building. It's the same sort of thing. It's covered under our own insurance.
As we would be.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else from the staff?
Thank you.
Items from the board, does anybody on the board have
I
any?
have a piece to share. History of Colorado is having their, it's part of their series. It's kind of year-round, celebrate women's history year-round, and they have Bold Women Change History series. There are 3 events coming up if you're interested. One is September 27th, and these are all at History Colorado in downtown Denver. The second one, which is actually sold out, unfortunately, that's October 12th. But the third and final one this year is the symposium, and it's called Undergarments, Revealing the Past. Anyway, it's a full day optional kind of thing, but you have to purchase tickets if you want to go. The tickets for that day are $35. It does include lunch. It goes from 8:30 to 4. I don't know if anyone's interested in going to something like that, but I might, because they're going to have several speakers and several different, information, little breakouts of, regarding history and women in history, and so they do some really wonderful programming, and I think this is specific to women. It's kind of a very cool thing. So let me know if you want the information.
What's
But
the-
it's on History
What's the
Colorado.
date on the symposium?
Symposium date is November 18th, Saturday, November 18th.
And September 27th, what's the event?
September 27th is Susan Lynn Johnson and Charlene Garcia Sims. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. The October is sold out already.
Hey, thank you. And the one thing I'd like to bring up from the board is just planning for next year, and we're talking about the garden, but some of the major work that needs to be done out there, how can we get that on the schedule somewhere, like with the actual turf needs some repairs?
Oh, yeah, I don't think this was shared, but for April and May, we're gonna be closed to private events because they're gonna be leveling the turf
Okay.
out in the south
Yeah, because that was
main
definitely,
area here.
and some of the borders they're metal and they've got sharp edges sticking up. Or
I've
they're
shared
bent over
that
completely.
with timber.
Yeah, that would be a timber thing, you can talk to him about that. As far as the grass, we met with Ryan Hennings from, our golf
Good.
folks, so, and he's took some measurements, he has a plan. We have a window, it will be obviously somewhat weather dependent. If we had a year like we had this year, it won't happen. But hopefully we have a normal year and we can squeeze 6 weeks out of there where he can get that done and try to essentially adding material is what it is. Because this is not an area, flat things in Colorado because of compaction. So so you top dress and then new seed to grow within the current seed. And those guys are professionals. So.
Yeah. I'd like to see in some places reclaiming some turf where the flower beds have just kind of expanded more than what I think they need to be. I know especially on the east side here, they've just gotten so big, and then that's just more maintenance. I mean, it's harder to take care of a managed flower bed than just to mow lawn.
Why don't you talk with Brittany and Brittany can communicate.
Okay, so I think,
about
reclaim some
that.
territory.
That's a different sort of
Yeah, okay.
sort of thing.
But it would have to be done about that same time too.
Yeah.
So. Okay. All right.
So I just had a follow-up on one item that I mentioned last time. It's in items from the board D. What is it? 8D. This is about the city working with the Sanford Historical Society to work together to create one list that is posted, let's say, in the Chamber of Commerce website, so that when people come to town or when people are just looking for something to do, if they want to look at historical sites, there's one place to find them all, as opposed to the city promoting some and.
That is under future agenda items.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
so I'm just following up on it.
Oh, okay.
And then Maureen said something about the Long Run Area Visitor Association would be a good forum. I'm not even familiar with that, but I guess what I want to know is who among us or from the city would talk to the Historical Society, okay, to see if it's something that can be done.
Yeah, I think, and so that, no,
Elise Davis.
she's with St. Brain. Okay,
Actually, it's DeSantis. Elise DeSantis.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to future agenda items.
Oh, sorry, I see,
Yes,
that was
it's
going to
already-
be covered.
Okay, okay.
I can help you with the contact information.
Great.
Club Affair, October 1. Is that just when we're gonna talk about it?
It's when we'll
Okay.
talk about it.
Okay. And then the next one, review future house restoration, that's also October. Callahan House e-blast contact, I think we already talked about some of this. but-
It's
Yeah, I
just
guess-
continually on here because
Yeah.
whenever an event is coming up, this is to remind us, hey, we need to come
Okay,
and we'll notice in constant contact, or maybe we need to send an email out to our Callahan House email list.
It's also a request for content.
Yes.
yeah, okay, if anybody has
If
it.
you have something that you
Yeah.
like, then it's.
Yeah,
So
I
that,
think the other thing that we wanted to do is, in addition to events going on, is just to have some that go out in between events that are just, historical tidbits about the house. And I would love for that
Oh.
I like
content
that
to come
idea.
from the board. I think that was Sue Ellen's idea, about some things going out just in between events so that we're reaching out more constantly.
Nice.
Not annoying, but just
No, yeah, just
friendly.
did you know
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the history of Callahan
yeah.
House?
Yeah.
And
I like
maybe
it.
with some photos, I don't know, we can use some photos from archives or things like
I
that.
think that would be real attention.
Yeah, so
Kind
if
of like
anybody.
the Colorado postcards on CPR.
Yeah,
Look, they're so interesting.
Yeah.
They're just, 30 seconds long.
Right.
or-
yeah,
Just a
just,
little blast.
the same
Yeah.
size as kind of this email that went out, but just a few little things. So if anyone has content for that, I mean, really at any point, you could send that to me and say, hey, I wanna talk about this piece of Callahan history, and I can put together a little blurb like this, just to say,
Yeah.
what you know.
I can certainly put together something for when you want to send it out next, but that can be done before the open house
Yeah,
events.
that'd be
because
great.
It will include hey, come and see our history walls of, you know, the managers
Yeah.
through the years and the board members through the years.
Yeah.
You know, along with how the house will be dressed up for the holidays. So I can certainly start to put together something for that.
That'd be great, yeah.
That's our
And at any
mistake.
point, if anybody wants to send me that type of stuff, and we can, you know, space it out how it gets sent out, but feel free to do that at any time.
You know, another thing that might go along with that is ask the public, that there might be somebody out there, you know, maybe getting elderly now, but who has a memory or knows a little hidden fact.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Someone we don't know.
Getting elderly.
Yeah. Okay. That was being nice.
And maybe a little tag at the end of each one can be, if you have a special, you know, memory to share, if you have a special fun fact to share, you know, reach back out to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
to share, to be posted in the future.
Yeah. I like
Or
it.
any information, you
Yeah.
just have some knowledge.
I like it.
Yes.
Okay, anything else there? Okay, moving on to closet cleaning. I think it's clean. It looked pretty
It's pretty clean, yeah. I mean, so there actually was not very much in there. There's actually a lot of space in there. So, yeah, there are a few random things in there that, you know, I might bring down for you all to look at some point if it needs to, you know, be somewhere special or have something special done with it. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I think it can probably come off of this list if you're comfortable with that. You can walk in and it's
I don't think it needs to go on this.
Yeah. The only thought I had is maybe if we want to do some curtains for the other side so that like during an open house, it can be open and talk about the history of that space, which was Alice's closet, and it's an interesting little space and not have, you know, reams of paper hanging out and whatnot. So yeah, I might pursue that, but otherwise it's good to go, I think, so.
Yeah.
It's great that people can walk in and look at it.
Yeah.
Because it is significant.
It's an interesting little space, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
We
sure.
had walk-in closets back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and back to collaboration with other local historic, did we cover that, do you think? Here's any more?
I think
so. Okay.
Well, so I'm gonna reach out to Elise DeSantis from St. Vrain.
DeSantis.
DE and then
DE,
capital S.
capital S.
and
Yeah,
GIS.
Okay. And lava, we're also interested in, or maybe Maureen has a
Maureen, I
contact
think,
there.
has a contact there.
Okay. And just kind of cross promoting each other is the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because anyone who comes into town is like, kind of interested in this,
Yeah.
what's to see and do here.
Okay.
I think it's an excellent
that's
idea,
great.
Cindy, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
Great. Thanks, Cindy.
We had somebody do a lot of it too
Okay.
over the last, like in the last 6 months.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty dynamic, so.
Is
I
this
think
within
getting
the
a
chamber
relationship
or?
going,
Yeah.
it's
Longmont Area
Longmont
Visitor-
Area Visitor Association.
But is
So
it
it's-
a
they're
part of the
affiliated.
chamber? Okay.
It's affiliated.
She's been
But
living
they're-
from Alaska.
Yeah,
I met her virtually.
yeah, she's very dynamic, a lot of experience, so someday I would say Brittany will want to get to know her name.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
I was in on
That's
those interviews, so
great.
she was
Cool.
really
Thank you for
impressive,
that.
because that position had gone unfilled for quite a while.
Okay.
It was, I want to say like since before COVID.
Does Lava issue promotional things on their own, or is it all done through, okay.
I don't know exactly the relationship between the chamber and them, but they work very closely together.
What does
There were
that-
folks from the chamber board in the interviews also.
Okay.
What is LAV again, Longmont Area?
Visitors
Visitors,
Association.
okay.
Just a note about the St. Vrain Historical Society, Pumpkin Pie Days are October 14th and 15th. Always looking for volunteers. All kinds of capacities for people who are interested, so that might be a good way to get involved in that kind of thing too, and neighborly exchange of helping each other.
Okay, anything else on that? Let's talk about the house manager picture project, and I think we've already discussed this, so.
Yes, that and the board member piece will be hung before the October 1st tea, so that's gonna be very exciting to display.
Okay. And,
There is one interesting thing behind the wall where the board member thing, there's a electrical box there.
Oh yeah, we talked about that at
There's
our walk.
electrical panels.
So
So it's
There's
gotta
another idea
cover that.
that will incorporate the three
We don't have to,
ladies that are going over
Sure.
to that wall anyway. So, we've got an idea that we can,
okay, and we'll want to set some time at the end of September because the board project is gonna be done. What did you say, on the 22nd or something?
the 20th is when I get a frame and glass, and so that's when I can, put it together
Okay.
and ready. And
Okay, because I would like some help in actually, once the installation piece is in place, actually getting those hung.
I think
How we want
Maureen,
them,
yeah, I was gonna say, I think Maureen definitely wanted to be involved in that because she understands how the system
Yeah.
works.
So when that's ready, I guess I'll reach out to whoever is interested in that.
It might be another one of those, okay, like what we were gonna do with Ian, and we're gonna get together on this day to do this, if you're interested, come join us.
Okay,
But I would say, yeah, definitely, Maureen, it would be, you might wanna coordinate the date with Maureen,
okay.
and then just send
And
us
you
all
have
an
all
email.
the pictures, and you need to be there as well, you have all the
Yeah,
pictures,
yeah,
and
it's
then anybody else that can or wants to help with that. And I imagine that'll be, not, I guess the, house manager project might be sooner than later, and then as soon as they're done with the hanging system, and then the board project will be when that's done. So
I think
late
we can-
September.
Yeah, I was
before
gonna
the
say, we
tea.
can get it all done
Mhm.
late September, but
Okay.
definitely before the tea.
Okay.
Alrighty. And the next item, and I know we've gotta get this down in concrete here, is the updated video parameters discussion, because we definitely have to have the right parameters to give to our potential bidders.
So are we supposed to be talking about that in October? Should we be bringing those parameters together?
Okay.
So everyone needs to bring their suggestions for the parameters to next month's board meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll wanna kind of finalize those next month. I mean, I don't know if they would wanna do, so, at this point, they're probably not gonna be doing much filming, because we still have to go through the bidding process, and yeah, it's gonna be spring for,
Change to a spring.
but we could get those in place to start the bidding
You just
process.
want apples to apples bids.
Great,
You know,
I
are you
want
doing
all
a
to be bidding
bids
on the
that-
same thing.
Yes, exactly the same thing, so that the successful bidder will know what we're getting, and other people can.
And another thing, we're kind of at a disadvantage now, but the bids should go to the city, right? And they should be confidential.
There's a very specific process that will be done through the city system, so it won't be, it'll be very much it'll be issued by the city.
Which is almost unfortunate, because we've already kind of heard one bid, but we'll just not just, everybody should know not to talk.
Well,
about it.
it's interesting, because you almost always have to have one sort of bid or quote, because otherwise you don't have any idea what to put out there. So, a lot of times what we do is we talk to a company that we work with, or in this case, a company that kind of fell into our laps. And those become our parameters, if we're like, well, we like that, then you can use those as your parameters. Do they have an advantage in such a thing? Yeah, they do. But it gives it clear parameters as opposed to all of us
Yeah.
trying to figure out
Go
what
sit there or
video.
not, well,
Yeah,
well,
we're like,
well,
I don't know, I know how to use my phone, but.
It gave us that baseline of what
Yeah.
we want.
So
and then if
that's,
there's
so we're
anything
actually, I
else that
think, in a
we're
really
thinking we
good
want,
spot
yeah.
to put that out there.
Yeah.
And this will be your first RFP, right?
Yay, RFP?
Go into
You
the
too, we'll figure out some
the cone of silence.
Yeah, you won't be alone.
Yeah.
It will be fine, it will go well.
It's pretty easy in the scope of RFPs.
Alright, so that'll be October. The last item on here is the annual report, which we'll have to put together, and I'll probably get the numbers from you, but the numbers won't be complete till the end of December.
Yeah.
And so other than that, just a kind of a narrative on things we've done, so
That is, you generally head that up?
generally.
Okay. Sounds
Because
good.
this is the second year and
Okay.
I'll bring an outline to the next meeting and then we can fill it in.
Okay.
So is there anything else we want to discuss?
A quick question, since we have some things that the board members all need to be mindful of for next month's meeting and prepared for next month's meeting, would you mind sending an email out to the board saying, okay, everyone please remember to come to next month's meeting, prepared to schedule for decorating in November, have your schedule ready, have your calendar ready. Please also remember to bring with you parameters that you have in mind regarding the video. The things that we all need to be prepared to bring to the table next month, I think would help if everyone has a little heads up on it, especially Maureen and Karen since they're not here.
Good idea.
Okay, anything else? Then can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
It is 10:20, we adjourn.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?